Jets end up saying, are they going to give up a first next year, just an overall first next year? Would you rather have a guaranteed one? Lord knows what's going to happen with the New York Jets next year, or do you want this package that's right there in front of you? It's the classic, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. You ain't got it, you might not get any. But do you want this right now? And I'm saying, as someone that wants to see Jordan Love and this Packers team successful, go ahead and bring in more good players. This roster, while I think it's a lot better than other people, this roster has holes that need to be filled, and there's nothing better than filling these holes with good young players that are on rookie contracts. How you get that? You exchange Aaron Rodgers for 2 picks that you then turn into good football players for your program.
Yeah, having 3 in the top 50 this year, I think, would go a long way for the roster. Whatever hole you're talking about, whether it's pass catcher, whether it's pass rusher, whatever it is, having 3 players in the top 50, I think you're going to, no matter who you are, no matter where you stand on the Packers roster, you're going to feel better about it if they have 3 of those picks in the top 50 this year. We're going to get back to more Packers talk later, but we got to talk about the Red Hot Brew Crew. Brewers back in town taking on the Red Sox tonight, and we'll break down just how well the Brewers have been playing as Sophia Minert from Bally Sports, Wisconsin, is going to be joining us next on Wilde Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcasts for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Explore Milwaukee's iconic Harley-Davidson Museum this spring. The Harley-Davidson Museum campus boasts one-of-a-kind shopping with exclusive Harley gear from 2 new retail stores, an interactive experience gallery, and the Motor Bar and Restaurant. Riverfront dining with daily specials like fish fries and barbecue. And make it a point to ride over on May 4th for Bike Night, where you can stock up with up to 70% off on deals from their factory shop. The Harley-Davidson Museum, 15 years as one of Milwaukee's top tourist destinations.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of Right Choice Tax Resolution. I just finished writing a book about my experiences dealing with the IRS. It is already a bestseller. The IRS is the most ruthless collection agency in the world. They can seize your bank accounts, garnish your wages, and even take your house. The state can deny your professional license as a teacher, nurse, or other occupation. Do you want your employer to know about your problems? My book tells you what you can do so you don't have to worry about them ever again. Don't bury your head in the sand and hope the problem will go away. It will only get worse unless you step up and do something. We can help. We help reduce or eliminate penalties, negotiate payment plans, and represent you in tax audits. Make the right choice and go to rightchoicetax.us to book a call or meeting right now. We know you want to take the first step in getting the IRS off your back so you can live again. That's rightchoicetax.us.
At least twice as big
as the one you gave her when you got engaged.
That's the definition of a big anniversary diamond.
Kessler's has lots of ways for you to go twice as big.
We have twice as big diamonds from diamond mines.
These diamonds come from the fiery heart of Mother Earth.
And the ones that exist in the world today are all there will ever be.
Kessler's also has twice as big created diamonds.
These diamonds come from the fiery heart
of a ball of lightning, a miniature star, inside a plasma chamber.
It's a wonder to behold.
Kessler's also has twice as big flickering firelight diamonds.
These natural diamonds flicker with all the warm colors of firelight
instead of the cold colors of ice.
Flickering firelight diamonds are another wonder to behold.
And all of these twice as big diamonds are for her.
The best wonder to behold of all.
Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you, go to Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
Elevate your next dining experience at the Bridgewater Modern Grill, featuring a seasonally driven kitchen inspired by a custom oak-fed grill. You can expect to enjoy a menu filled with wood-fired flavors and classic comforts. With the longest riverfront patio in the city, add the Bridgewater to the top of your list for your weekday lunch, weekend brunch, or dinner out with friends. Visit the Bridgewater Modern Grill at 2011 South 1st Street in Milwaukee's Harbor District or BridgewaterMKE.com.
Show podcasts, team-centric feeds, and listening live whenever, wherever. All of that in the palm of your hand. The Wisconsin On Demand app, available in the Apple or Android App Store.
I lived alone and was having problems with my landlord. He's a creep. One night I'm watching TV and I hear my landlord letting himself in. Hey, get out. You can't keep coming in.
I'm just here to fix your fridge and spend some time together.
Get out. I'm reporting you.
Don't make a federal case of it.
A federal case? Sexual harassment in housing is against federal law. If you are harassed, file a complaint with HUD. Go to HUD.gov/fair housing. If you fear for your safety, call 911. Fair housing. The law is on your side. A message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Station updates, show clips, and your place to interact with us every single day just by scrolling through your feed. Follow along on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at ESPN Milwaukee. This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Seems like the Brewers are getting buried a little bit. Excitement around the Bucks. Giannis is out. Now they're in a 1-1 series heading down to Miami. All this talk about Aaron Rodgers, NFL draft. It's early season, but
Gabe's
the Brewers
golfing.
are playing incredibly well. Yep.
Gabe Neitzel's going to run
Brewers
a marathon.
well,
Yeah, there's a
Tausch.
lot of other stuff going on. Yeah. I think it's always interesting to me, the expectation game in sports. And I know people always assume at the Bucks, it's, wake me up in April or May because we're going to be good. And the Brewers, I think this year, there was let's wait and see. Well, so far, so good. I don't think anybody would have expected this start. Maybe Sophia did. I know I didn't.
Well, let's go ahead and ask her as we bring in Sophia Minert from Bally Sports Wisconsin. Check her out on all the Brewers telecasts on Bally Sports Wisconsin. Did you expect this, Sophia? Did you see this start coming from the Milwaukee Brewers?
Yeah, hi guys. I'm here to unbury the Brewers. I'm here to unbury the Brewers. I'm here to shine some light. Yes, baseball has started. No, it's been a great start, absolutely. And I think you guys are right. I think this team, it came in built a little bit differently than what we've seen in the past. I think they added new pieces offensively, veterans, of course, the freshmen, and then I think the bullpen. There were questions around that group as well with a lot of new faces. And I think all of the phases of the team so far have come together pretty quickly. They've all had success pretty quickly. And I think what's been really fun about this team so far is that you can't point to one person. I think it's been truly the entire roster, and I know that sounds cliched to say that, but I think you can look at the first 20 games or so and say, it really has taken all of them to kind of get this start. And they're coming off of a great road trip. They went 7-3. They're just coming off of the sweep against Seattle. They won 3 out of 4 against the San Diego Padres, who a lot of people feel will be one of the better teams in the National League. So they're doing it against a very tough schedule. I think all of the opponents that they've played so far, with the exception of the Cubs, were playoff teams from a year ago. So it's been fun to watch. It's been fun to watch this team kind of come together.
One of the things that I've noticed, Sophia, that players have been saying is about the closeness that they have in that clubhouse. How did they get that back? Because the clubhouse seemed to be lost after the Josh Hader trade last year.
Yeah, I think, and this is what Craig talks about, is he uses the soup analogy, right? You can think that you're using the same recipe, you can think you're using the same ingredients, and then you just don't know at the end, right, how the soup is really going to turn out. And I think we did see that last year. It's very much a different vibe this year, and I think, last year it was a different group. The trade deadline happened. The team struggled after that. They didn't make the postseason, obviously. There was frustration in the room. I mean, all of that, all of that happened. And then I think this year they come in they've been on both sides of the margin, right, of what it feels like to win and get in and postseason baseball and all of that and be really close to the World Series. And now this group also has the feeling of you finish one game back and you're on the outside looking in. And so I think they came in like probably with more of an appreciation of like what that margin is and how much all of these things matter. And Craig does a great job of like starting at spring training of like, you know, these team meetings that they have in the morning of like having new players come up and like doing question and answers with like the rest of the clubhouse, having people like Eddie Alvarez, like speed skate and rollerblade around the clubhouse, bringing Dustin Pedroia in. This year he assigned them at the end of spring training. He assigned them like kind of pairings of, you know, you guys are going to have a conversation, whether that means coffee, lunch, dinner, whatever that looks like to you. And you're going to report back to the rest of the clubhouse about like what you learned about your teammates. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff that happens. And then I think also just the young guys that have come up and made their debuts, they bring a different energy. And I think for the veteran guys that have been through this before, it rubs off on them, kind of takes you back, right, to when you make your debut, your rookie season, all these milestone moments. And so I think you're kind of seeing all of that come together here in the first month.
Yeah, Sophia, I was just going to ask you that. Because you have veterans, and I think every clubhouse wants to have that good mix where you get the youthful energy with the veteran experience and you want to get it to blend. I guess from your point of view so far, from the youth or the freshmen as you call them, whose energy is really, who are the veterans really talking about is, man, that is just a breath of fresh air that has really kind of rejuvenated our clubhouse?
Yeah, I think Bryce Terang is one because I think and it's funny because he is not, you know, he is not like a high energy personality. He's very calm. He's very even keel. He's got sort of like the California laid back vibe to him. But I think he's in the lineup pretty much every day. His defense has been exceptional. He, of course, you know, the grand slam at the home opener, he had a pinch hit homer in a big spot in a win against Seattle. Had another huge hit in the series finale against Seattle. So I think he's contributing in like real ways, and the guys really like him. I think their eyes have been opened of just like how athletic he is, how good he can be. And he's just already become like a presence just in the middle of the field for them. I think Joey Weimer too, like kind of similar thing. Like he's a really funny kid. The way that he goes up there, it's like he's trying to destroy a baseball, like in every at bat. Great defense for him as well. I think they just see that like these are great guys that are really talented. They're having an impact right away. And I think it's fun for the veteran players to like watch them have this kind of success like this early. I think they appreciate like how hard this is to do. And so to see them have these big moments, it's fun, you know, and it kind of makes you all excited to watch it.
Absolutely. Sophia, some injuries off of this trip. You give us a quick update as far as, you know, some of the pitching injuries and anything else that you have that you can tell us about.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. So I think we'll start with Corbin Burns. I think everyone was sort of collectively holding their breath to see him come out of the game in Seattle. He appears to be totally fine. They thought it was initially like a left pec strain. He kind of described it more as like just tightening and cramping. He was out throwing the last day that we were in Seattle. He should be doing a bullpen today, and he's scheduled to start Sunday. So barring any setbacks in his bullpen today, I think Corbin should be good to go for Sunday. So I think that's a huge, obviously, crisis averted there. Brandon Woodruff, we should get more on him today, if not later this weekend, because both he and Garrett Mitchell are going to see the team doctors today to just get more of an assessment. But for Woody, I think the timeline is just a little murky right now, and we're hoping we can get a little bit more clarity as he's dealing with his shoulder injury. And for him, that's a new injury. He's never had an arm injury before in his pro career. So he's not throwing or anything right now, so we do know it's going to be more than the minimum time. And then Garrett is in a similar spot. He was supposed to have an MRI yesterday, so we should know more on his situation today with his left shoulder. So It's just the MRI is going to reveal a lot about what the internal damage is and what his timeline is going to be. So we're hoping we can get more info on Woody and with Garrett, just on how long they'll be out and realistically what their rehab will look like.
Talking with Sophia Minert, Bally Sports, Wisconsin. Brewers welcome the Red Sox to American Family Field tonight. Sophia, one of the things the Brewers were known for is using the rules to their advantage. They were a team that shifted among the most, and now that option's been taken away. But with some of the new rules, are they trying to use some of those in their advantage, whether it's the bigger bases, trying to steal more bases, get that extra base on a base hit going for first to third? Are they still trying to make the rules work for them?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you see that even just like how the roster is constructed, right? I think the rules now, they reward just contact, right? Just putting the ball in play, and then speed, obviously. So there is a lot of speed up and down this lineup. And the Brewers typically have been a pretty aggressive team, normally in like the top 10 in terms of stolen bases, sometimes even top 5. They just typically like an aggressive approach because of the pressure that puts on pitchers. And I think even now, with the rules that, a pitcher can only have a disengagement per hitter, it's like, and they can only throw over to first base once, they've got to be certain, right? And so I think that's to the advantage of, if you've got smart base runners and you've got speed, you can put that pressure on even more. And certainly this lineup is capable of that. So we've seen the base running already have an impact in some of these games. I think that's going to be a trait of this team moving forward for sure. And then I think on the pitching side of it, with the pitch timer, I think they've only had 2 violations so far, if I'm correct. So I think everyone has like adapted to the new pace. I think like Wade Miley, for example, is a guy that typically works quick, and if anything, he's trying to use the pitch timer to almost slow himself down, and try to slow the hitter down a little bit more too. Devin Williams, I know there was a lot of concerns with Devin and the pitch timer. He's done okay with it so far, and there was a great moment on Sunday, the last at bat against Trent Grisham. It's full count, it's bases loaded, it's 2 outs, he's facing Trent Grisham, and he intentionally ran the clock all the way down to 1, like a borderline violation, just to try to give himself that extra breath and try to put that little extra doubt into Trent's mind, and ultimately he got the strikeout. So I do think, now 3 weeks into this, everyone has pretty much adapted, and everyone's still working to find those edges when you can.
So, Sophia, what are you doing with all your extra time now? These games are all cut in half, 30 or 40 minutes. I'm assuming you like that. I guess on the road trip, what was the best thing that you did? Were you throwing fish around over at the market in Seattle? What was a highlight of the trip for Sophia?
Good question. Yeah, I think we're all enjoying the quicker games. I will say in San Diego we had a great night of fish tacos and margaritas after a day game over the weekend there in San Diego. And then Seattle's great. I mean, the team had not been to Seattle since 2016. So definitely we're due for a trip to Seattle. It was cold. I did go to the fish market. I let Jeff and Vinny do the fish throwing. I did not participate in that, but I did do a lot of fish eating. I know. Okay. I did do a lot of fish eating, though. So, yeah.
What about the bubblegum wall? Did you go to that? Did you go see the bubblegum wall? It's kind of disgusting.
I did. It's right outside of Pike Place Market, in like Post Alley. And have you guys seen the wall, the gum wall?
I have.
You guys visited it?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, are you like horrified by it, or do you think it's like?
No, that stuff doesn't freak me out. Like, I'll throw gum on there. You did?
Oh, have you contributed?
What were the results?
Yeah, everyone was horrified.
Yeah, you have to. Why? Because it's just disgusting?
Yeah. I don't remember the exact numbers. I don't remember the exact numbers, but the majority of people, my poll question was like, I put a picture of the gum wall up, and then I put gross or artsy, and the majority, like the vast majority, said it was gross.
Well, what's
where do you come
artsy
down?
about
What did you
it?
vote on your poll?
Yeah.
I think it's gross.
Yeah, who's thinking that's artsy? Like, what's artsy about sticking
Hipster
gum
who
on
lives
a
in the
wall?
Pacific Northwest, clearly.
No.
Right.
It's
well,
I don't
obviously, this has become an attraction.
everything can become an attraction, is what I've found. Like
Yeah,
gum.
no,
What's next?
if
Chewing
you market it
tobacco?
right.
Are you gonna just splat your chewing tobacco spit up on a wall and say, "Hey, come and take a look at that"? Like, that's crazy. That
Now,
somebody
see,
thinks that's
that would
fun.
be
if they
that
would
would be a
have been doing
very
it long
baseball
enough.
move.
Yeah,
That would be
If they do it long enough,
baseball-ish,
like,
yeah.
oh, this is Ted Williams. This is Ted Williams' chaw that's on our wall.
See, now that I'm intrigued by. That I would be intrigued by. Hannes Wagner, get some historical. You know what? I'm changing my mind. It's all artsy, and I want more of it. I'm in. Sunflower seeds,
want more?
whatever.
Maybe you guys could start your own wall in the studio.
Yeah,
Sophie, here's
potentially.
the problem.
A collection
I don't know.
of radio snacks.
Here's the
Oh,
problem,
I don't-
Sophia.
See, now you guys
I don't know
are
if this is a
thinking about-
problem. I don't know if this is a problem in Madison, but we have our studios here in Milwaukee are dual level. Like our office is upstairs, the studios are downstairs, and upstairs is where we have 2 dishwashers, and us as a content team, and I guess I have to put myself in here, but the dishes we leave in the one sink they gave us downstairs, like they should have never given us the sink. I could go take a picture of it right now. It's so disgusting. It's so disgusting.
Or is it
Like,
art?
you cannot be trusted.
Or
with
is it
anything.
art?
Yeah, or is it
No,
art?
this is definitely not
or
art.
is it real life?
Hey, Sophia, before we let you go, yesterday, Gabe on Scalzo and Bruss, they raised a ton of money for the MAC Fund. Gabe's stuff, it's just fantastic. But I ask you, if you had to pick, run a marathon, get a tattoo, or let somebody slap you on air, which one are you picking?
I mean, I slapped Ben Brust on the air yesterday. That did
That's
happen.
what happened
You
yesterday.
slapped him on the air?
I did,
Wow.
yeah. Just go
Like-
check out.
like for charity?
It was art.
Yeah. Somebody donated $1,000 for Ben Brust to get slapped.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, first of all, very generous contribution. Wow. Okay. Run a marathon, get a tattoo, or be slapped.
In fairness, it's a half marathon. A half marathon. I don't know if that changes the equation for you.
Well, still very difficult. I think I would run a half marathon just because that would force me to train for it. And it would give, you know what I mean? Like there would be like a health component to it of like, okay, it would give me something to train for, it'd give me some goals, it'd give me, a project. I would feel good about it. I'd feel accomplished. And then, I think that's what I would do. It would be painful though. It would be painful. Is that what are you doing the half marathon or a full?
No, I'm doing a slap.
Yeah.
Slap. Slap all
Yeah, I'm
day.
doing the half marathon.
Not even a question.
Well done. Not even a question.
Yeah. Those are all things that actually happened on the radio yesterday. So none of them were like a hypothetical. They were all factual things that happened. I guess a hypothetical in your case. But we appreciate it, Sophia, and look forward to talking to you. Well, for me, on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy next Wednesday, you'll be on with these boys in a couple of weeks.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, for having me. Have a great weekend.
Sophia Minnertz breaking down all things Brewers and, a few things more. It's always fun to have fun with Sophia.
Yeah, the gum wall. Art.
I
Definitely
was
art.
not aware of the gum wall. I am going to dig in and try to see what I can find out about this gum wall.
Well, chew on it after the break. Why don't you chew on it? Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Look at that guy. Just what a pro. That's coming up next. Wilde Tausch.
Wilde Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Over the past year, we've been hard at work improving our sales processes, expanding and remodeling our facilities, investing in new technology, and continuing our commitment to serve our customers, employees, and community. That's why at Boucher, when our customers leave the dealership, we hope we've made a customer for life. Whether you're in need of a new vehicle, are stopping in for routine maintenance, or are in need of collision work, we will be here to help. With 20 locations throughout southeastern Wisconsin and 30 brands, we've got thousands of new and used vehicles for you to choose from. Our dedicated employees have been named a 2022 top workplace for the past 11 years, and we always have been and will continue to be family-owned and operated. Proud to be your Wisconsin family dealership group since 1977. Visit us today at Boucher.com.
The Crew looks to stay hot on Saturday. The Red Sox are in town to take on the Brewers Saturday night at AmFam Field.
High fly ball, deep right field. Rowdy Tellez has done it again. A 3-run shot for Rowdy.
Coverage right here on 94.5 ESPN starts at 5:35. And stick around after the game for Brewers Extra Innings.
Are you ready for summer? Cousin Subs and Summerfest are teaming up once again for the return of the world's largest music festival with a special ticket offer. Simply place an order online at cousinsubs.com of $30 or more now through April 30th and receive a free weekday Summerfest ticket. This offer is not valid in store. One qualifying purchase per day per email will result in a free weekday ticket. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. For complete list of rules, visit cousinsubs.com/Summerfest.
A big storm brewing? Don't miss it. It's Thursday Thunder this April at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. You could win a share of $400,000 in cash and prizes. Just play with your club card April 1st through the 27th, and you could be one of 50 winners each Thursday. Showers might bring flowers, but Thunder brings the boom. Only at Potawatomi. More info at paysbig.com/thunder. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Cedar Ridge Distillery continues to make a home right here in Wisconsin. The original 86 bourbon is the best-selling bourbon in Iowa for 3 straight years, and you have the opportunity to get that here in Wisconsin. Also, the quintessential, the best American single malt, voted by John Barleycorn Awards, and Cedar Ridge manages every step of the production from grain to glass. Make sure you pick up the Scalzo and Bruss private barrel of bourbon and rye whiskeys, available at Discount Liquor at 51st in Oklahoma or Barstow in Maine in downtown Waukesha.
Did you know that when you make time to do 3 simple things each day with your children, talking, reading, and singing, you're helping to shape and strengthen their brains for the years to come? I love to look at the pictures in a book and notice little details about the characters. I pause along the way to ask my child to wonder about how they might feel. When you ask open-ended questions like, "What do you notice?" or "What do you think will happen next?" you're inviting them to be curious. All these rich conversations help develop both their vocabularies and their thinking skills. And it's a great way for you and your child to bond and discover the world together. As a father, helping my child is the most important thing to me. Each of us has the power to create a strong start for our children by talking, reading, and singing with them from the moment they're born, and help them to enter school ready to learn and succeed in life. Visit talkingisteaching.org for free tips, resources, and ideas on how to transform everyday moments into magical moments for learning.
You're listening to Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
I just checked out that gum wall that you and Sophia were talking about. I don't know how I had never heard of this thing before.
Yeah.
But I'm with Sophia. It's disgusting.
Yeah,
it's
I
gross.
think on the surface, literally it's gross. But we think a lot of stuff is gross. I'm sure back in the 1400s when Rodin was putting sculptures together, people were like, well, that's gross. You can see stuff. And now it's in the Louvre, and people are like paying big money to go look at it. People go to Seattle. They fire fish around the market. They go see the tower, or whatever that thing's called, the Needle. And they go look for gum walls. Those are your 3 big tourist attractions when you head to Seattle. So, yeah, you can think it's disgusting, but it's art. And I've come around on it. It is art. And I kind of wish that they would have continued to do more of that, even though I think you put gum under your desk in school, you get detention.
Yeah,
you do it out in Seattle, you end up getting art prizes, Pulitzers, if you will.
It's the way it's like, it's not just the gum stuck there, but the way the gum is like stretched out in some places. That's what really gets me. For whatever reason, it's the stretched out gum that just kind of grosses me out, that I'm all the way out on. It's not good.
I could see why you'd think it's disgusting, because it is a little disgusting. But like I said, a lot of art is disgusting. That's why it becomes art.
The whole beauty is in the eye of the beholder type thing. That's what we're kind of going at.
I think that is what we're going at. What else we're going at? I'm excited. Tomorrow, the launch. This new exciting era of Luke Fickell and the Wisconsin Badgers. And Badger fans, American Family Insurance wants to give you and a friend a VIP experience for next year's Badger football or basketball games during the 2023 season. You and a friend receive pregame sideline or courtside passes, tour of the facility, tons of merch to support your Wisconsin Badgers. Enter today at amfam.com/Badgers. No purchase is necessary. Insure carefully. Dream fearlessly.
We are going to dive into some comments that Jason Wilde made on Wilde and Tausch yesterday, despite not being on the show, but being a guest on the show. It's a little confusing, but what he said was interesting and not confusing. We'll dive into those comments coming up in just 2 minutes on Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Hello, baseball fans. Jeff Levering here, calling the action with the amazing team at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. And what a roster we have. Up to bat is Pella's award-winning Easy Slide innovation. Wow, what a smooth glide. Pella's sliding windows are incredibly easy to maneuver, wider than they are tall. They glide horizontally, letting in lots of natural light and unobstructed views. And that roll? It's a double play. Pella's premium roll screens operate like magic. Close the window and the screen rolls away completely out of sight. Now that is slick. On deck is Pella's Reserve Series patio door. Just look at that slide. It's a perfect fit. Pella Reserve patio doors offer virtually unlimited sizes and custom colors, and they're backed up with the best lifetime warranty in the industry. Pella sure is one heck of a 5-tool player, and you can bring any number of their all-star innovations home for 0% for 48 months when you order by April 30th. Visit PellaWI.com for this amazing deal.
Certain restrictions apply.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank. And you know, there's more to being a local Wisconsin bank than perfectly pronouncing Oconomowoc or Waukesha. Or is it Waukesha? But rest assured, at Great Midwest Bank, we understand the local community and economy because we're a part of it. At GMB, we provide customized lending products that others just can't offer. Experience a hometown banking difference. Head to greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Attention, attention. More superheroes are needed. Current Electric is growing and hiring service and commercial electricians, solar panel installers, and customer service representatives. Current Electric offers 5-star tech experience with training, coaching, and support, along with competitive pay and benefits. Apply at currentelectricco.com/careers. That's currentelectricco.com/careers. Current Electric has been serving Milwaukee since 1983 and is an equal opportunity employer.
Gabe Neitzel here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Wilde and Tausch, ESPN Wisconsin. No Wilde today. I am Gabe Neitzel, your cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better, along with the Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher. So Wilde was off the show yesterday. He was able to join. Do we know where Wilde is? Or did he not disclose where he is?
Yeah, he's at, I think he likes sharing. I don't. I think he's at a gymnastics meet. I think his daughters are gymnastics superstars and are on a world quest to win a championship, I think up in Minnesota, if my guess is correct.
Good luck to the good luck to the Wilde girls, if that's indeed where they are. But he was still on this show yesterday. And you guys had Brian Balaga on yesterday. And Wilde then joined as a guest with you and Jesse Nelson hosting this program yesterday. And here's what Jason had to say.
Gabe, I've noticed, and you have Wilde on a couple times a week on your show.
Yep.
Wilde as a guest, a lot more insightful than as a host.
Oh, he gives us so much good stuff.
Yeah.
I know it upsets you, and he's noted a couple of times that he tries to. And here's the other thing. I just don't think he can help himself, because there's been a couple of times where he's like, well, Tausch might get mad if I share the good stuff. But then he ends up sharing the good stuff with us anyway.
He does.
I know it's upsetting to you, but as the
I'm a team, as you know, Gabe. Yeah, I'm a team player, so I'm on board with him doing it. But I always ask, because I'll ask him pointed questions and he refuses to answer them, and it frustrates me. Because then he'll say, "This is his deal." Well, let me ask you a question. And I said, "No, I've asked you a question," because he'll always say, "Well, they ask better questions." I mean, Gabe or Chewy or Jen will ask a better question. He never says Scalzo and Brust ask a better question, because that's just
fair. Yeah,
but he has said that, and I'll say, I ask, and you know how you do like Perry Mason, asked and answered, Your Honor. Oh, no, he doesn't do it. He's the opposite of Perry Mason. It's frustrating.
Yeah, he's. But I mean, you got the taste of him being a guest on your show
yesterday. I know.
And guess what? That means Jason Wilde, he's going to give us the good stuff when it comes to this trade between the Packers and Jets.
I had a conversation with someone who is plugged in pretty well yesterday, and I had a text back and forth with someone else who's plugged in pretty well yesterday. I think there is a lot of optimism on their parts. That doesn't mean that Goody or Joe Douglas are optimistic, because those were not the people I corresponded or talked with. But I think there is a feeling, as Tausch correctly stated, that this will get done in time for the second round. They are definitely not getting the 13th pick unless it were to be a pick swap at the 11th hour. But I do think that there is hope, because I think we can all agree Goody wants picks in this year's draft. Even if it's only one pick, he's got 10 picks, but he's only got 3 on the first 2 days. You add another day 2 pick, that makes it a lot easier.
So, first of all, how long would have it taken to get an answer like that on the show? Like, you probably would have given that at 11:58, right before the show ends, after you tried to get something out of him the entire show. But yesterday he just offers up great information about this trade.
Yeah, I think he felt like he needed to chime in, because he came on and we had some difficulties early on connecting. So then he threw this out there, and I think the interesting part, because he talks to a lot of people, and his point is that this is going to happen. Now, you could take that for what it's worth, because it's not, as he mentioned, it wasn't Goody, it wasn't Joe Douglas that he's talked to, but the fact that this is as close as it is, and it's being reported, and you're not hearing a lot of other stuff, you're feeling some smoke screen type things with Tennessee and some of this other stuff, which is just bunk. The fact that Wilde has gotten to the point where Green Bay is not getting 13. We all understand that. I still believe that the pick swap is what pushes this over the end. I think Green Bay has an offensive tackle or the wideout from Ohio State that is sitting there at 13, and they say, you know what, pick swap, boom, 42, boom, conditional, let's get this done. And the Jets say, okay, this gets it over the top. And when it happens, Gabe, I will be completely insufferable, because I've been saying pick swap for how long is Aaron, and when Mark Murphy talked at the girls' state basketball tournament, That's what I think gets this thing over the top.
6
It
weeks
is
ago
there.
At this point.
Yeah, it's been a long time. But the deal and the parameters and what Trey Wingo reported accurately early on was that this deal is in essence done. I believe that's the case. There are small tweaks left that have to get done. So Craig's point this morning and on your show, all of that stuff is interesting to think about, but it's not the most rational thing that's going to happen because it's in both parties' interest to move forward. And Jason basically said that's what's going to happen in that little clip.
And I know this can go as late as a week from today because that's when the second round is going to be, and that's barring a pick swap. 42 or 43 is going to be the earliest pick that you get out of the Jets, obviously, this year. But I would still like to see this deal get done, Tausch, in, I don't know, Tuesday, Wednesday, sometime before the first round, just in case the Packers fall in love with another player, a la Clay Matthews in 2009, and at least then you would have the ammo of the 42nd and the 45th pick to potentially trade back into the first round if that's what you want to do. I'm not saying they're going to, but I just want to have as many options as I possibly can and would prefer to have it done before that first round, so at least if, you know, let's say you really like Michael Mayer, but you end up taking a pass rusher with 15, but Michael Mayer slides to 26, and now you want to trade back in and end up getting that guy, and you have 2 picks like they did back in 2009 when they were able to supplement the roster with B.J. Raji and Clay Matthews. I just want that option available to me instead of waiting all the way till Friday and then getting the deal done.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's going to be more about the Thursday and watching the board unfold because I think a lot of us, as the draft industrial complex winds down, everybody was thinking there's a chance that you're going to have 4 quarterbacks or 5 quarterbacks go in the top 10. And now C.J. Stroud, you're seeing all kinds of stuff with C.J. Stroud. The Texans talking about not taking a quarterback. It's in the Packers' best interest for all of these quarterbacks to go.
Oh,
we want to see Will Levis off the board. We want to see Stroud off the board. That's the hope. Richardson from Florida. It would be fantastic if that's the case. Then all of a sudden, maybe there's an offense, and I think the Jets are going to go offensive tackle. They know they need to protect Aaron. They're going to, and if their guy is sitting there and there's only 1 or 2 tackles left, they're not going to want to swap because they're going to want to make sure they secure their guy. If you see all those quarterbacks go, now you got Skoronski and you got the big fella from Tennessee, you got Ohio State's offensive tackle, and if you feel good about all 3, which they obviously are going to have a stronger feeling about one more than the other, and you think Green Bay is going to go with Smith from Ohio State, okay, swapping is more viable. That's why I just don't think the urgency is going to be there for the Jets to make that move until they see the board starting to unfold. Because the Packers, why would the Packers not want to get to 13? Everybody would rather be 13 than 15. So this is more about the Jets. The Packers could say, let's get this done now. We have guys that we really want that we're targeting at 13. We don't think they're going to be there. But the Jets are going to say, well, yeah, if the board falls the way we hope, we'll be happy to do that. But if not, we won't. So you can have these general parameters in place, which I think happens a lot more than we think. That's, I think, where Green Bay, it's in their best interest to push, and it'll be in the Jets' best interest to eventually acquiesce and give the pick swap unless there's that special offensive tackle or some player that they feel like they need to add to this Aaron Rodgers roster.
Much like I respect Craig Karmazin for really sticking by his guns, even though it's a dumb take, and this is a much smarter take to me than Aaron Rodgers showing up to camp and how interesting that would be. I respect your stubbornness around the pick swap. Like, I really respect it.
Yeah.
Like, you are really pushing the pick swap. Like, it's impressive how long you have been able to really just continue to push that and have hope for it. I'm impressed.
Yeah, well, Gabe, I mean, it's pretty simple to me because the parameters of the 42 or 43 is coming to Green Bay. That's happening.
Yep.
That's basically already done. The other part of this, you're always looking when somebody's being a little stubborn. And I don't think Goody's being ridiculously stubborn. I don't think Joe Douglas is being ridiculous. I think they are in the range. They're probably at the 5-yard line going in. So you can run it, you can pass it. You got options to get in. The pick swap can get you that 5 yards. You're not asking for a 50-yard bomb to MVS or to Christian Watson. I'm looking for a 5-yard dump pass to Bubba Franks back in 2003. Just give me a little something.
A little boot.
Picks.
Little boot,
the
little
pick
flip.
swaps. The pick swap is the option route. An Aaron Jones 5-yard and a cloud of dust option route. That's what moves the needle to get it done. I've thought that for a while because while we all, and I just keep thinking back to how many picks have been made where it's been a difference of 2 or 3. And I think back to the 89 draft where the Green Bay Packers, had they lost the last game of the year, they end up drafting Troy Aikman, and our entire history of our organization is completely different. I don't think Troy Aikman has the success that he had. I think Troy Aikman had a ton of success because he had a ton of talent. He is a game manager quarterback. He was never a league leader when it came to yards throwing. I mean, he's a good leader that had a great team around him. How would he have done with the Packers as they would have done? And that is the essence of what the pick swap looks like. Those little things make a huge difference. Green Bay could have easily, if they would have pick swapped and went to 4, they end up with Deion Sanders or Derek Brooks or Derek Thomas.
Yep.
Those, you don't think it's a big deal, but man, you know what everybody talks about? Jay Sternberger or Terry McLaurin. 1 pick difference.
1 pick.
Evaluation matters, but positioning matters, especially at the top of drafts.
One of the most famous ones from Ron Wolf. When he was ready to take Ray Lewis and he thought he was in the clear, suddenly Ray Lewis comes off the board and he panics, and I believe he ended up taking John Michaels, who ended up not being a very good Green Bay Packer, and Ray Lewis obviously went on to have the career that Ray Lewis had. That would have been fun to think about him being in the Packers defense. So those, again, like you said, it doesn't seem like it's a big difference, but a lot of times when you look back in the history of drafts, it ends up being a huge difference, and it's one that we're going to hang on when we look back at those drafts. Oh, man. I mean, can you imagine the Packers could have gotten to 22 and instead of where they were and gotten Justin Jefferson? I mean, that's the type of stuff that you end up talking about, and it seems little at the time, but it could end up paying big dividends for the Green Bay Packers. We've got a little need it or don't need it. That's coming up next on Wilde Tausch.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
All Brewers games are on sale now, including a star-studded battle with the Angels on deck for April 28th through the 30th. Witness some of baseball's biggest names go head-to-head as Corbin Burns and the crew face off against Shohei Ohtani and the Angels. Plus, take home a limited edition Brewers hoodie at the game on Saturday the 29th. Get your seats today at brewers.com/promotions.
It's a new era for the green and gold.
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
And we're hitting the ground running on night 1 of the draft. Join us as we broadcast live from Q Club of Wisconsin on Thursday night starting at 6. Homer Tausch, Jason Wilde, Ben Brust, and the full Jen, Gabe, and Chewy crew will be reacting to the picks and talking about the future in Green Bay. Draft night on 94.5 ESPN, live from Q Club of Wisconsin in Waukesha.
Life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance because you'll feel protected no matter how the wind blows. All so you can keep enjoying the home of your dreams. And our expert agents can help you save up to 23% when you bundle home with auto. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. American Family Insurance. Get a quote? Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Mark Tauscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. Well, are you ready for a new shower? If you are, Kohler Services is a local end-to-end bath and shower design and remodel service brought to you by Kohler, a family-owned business in Wisconsin for over 150 years. Kohler is the only manufacturer offering fast, professional installation and care for life. Start enjoying your bath or shower right now with a special offer. Visit kswisconsin.com to request your free quote and tell them that I sent you. Again, that's kswisconsin.com.
To be able to breathe properly when you sleep is a profound change. To be able to sleep properly is probably the most important thing you can do for your health, period. End of sentence. In order to sleep properly, you have to be able to breathe properly. If you can't breathe properly, you aren't going to sleep properly. It sounds sort of like simple, like I'm talking to a first grader, but I'm simply saying that most people don't recognize how profoundly impacted their sleep is by their breathing issues until we fix it. And so if we fix somebody's nose, we fix their sinuses, we make sure that their throat is staying open when they're sleeping at night, their body is for the first time ever breathing properly and therefore sleeping properly. And you kind of forget, like, oh, this was such a big deal for me before I got it fixed.
Breathe well with simple solutions at vetnose.com. The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
According to American writer H.L. Mencken, a well-stocked bar can create over 17 billion different cocktails. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. I don't know if 17 billion is accurate or not, but I do know that Discount Liquor is the place to find everything you need to be well-stocked for any occasion. Discount Liquor is Wisconsin's home to over 2,000 varieties of beer, 3,500 types of liquor, and over 8,000 wines. Our unparalleled selection is rivaled only by our incredible savings and everyday low prices. And we know how to take care of our customers, no matter the occasion. In fact, Discount Liquor has won numerous national and local awards. Visit Discount Liquor at our Milwaukee or Waukesha locations. Family owned and operated since 1960.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
In Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma, and in downtown Waukesha on Main and Barstow. Check out our specials at discountliquorinc.com.
You're listening to Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Every time I touch that track, it turns into gold.
Wilde Tausch, I'm Gabe Neitzel filling in and your cousin sub of the day for Jason Wilde along with Mark Tauscher. But we have another cousin sub of the day, as apparently today was the day producers just took off on Fridays. No Jesse Nelson on this show. We didn't have Ashton Rotman on our show this morning. So Ryan Wollersheim is the one stepping in as the cousin sub of the day for Jesse Nelson as we play a little Need It or Don't Need It.
Or don't need it. Presented by Fleet Farm. Remember, if Fleet Farm doesn't have it, then you don't need it. Fleet Farm, serving the Midwest since 1955.
So, guys, good morning. Stepping in for Jesse Nelson.
Hey, Wooly.
As he's up in, Chippewa Falls, trying to find Mark Murphy in the tailgate tour, maybe. But one thing I saw while cruising through the interwebs, I'm going to take you guys on a draft-themed version of Need It or Don't Need It today, all right? And this is one tweet I saw from the Seattle's Bob Condata. He is a beat writer for the Seattle Seahawks. And their GM, John Schneider, made an interesting comment on what he's learned during his drafts with the Seahawks when he was on the Wyman and Bob show in Seattle yesterday. He said, in general, we do a much better job when we just pick the best player rather than trying to address a specific need. So, guys, need it or don't need it, John Schneider's draft philosophy of taking the best player available.
Yeah, you know what I thought here, Gabe, when I saw this? Our own Jesse Nelson on Monday, in analyzing the Milwaukee Bucks, the tough loss Sunday night, was, boy, the Bucks would be a lot better off if Giannis was healthy and playing. And I thought to myself, wow, That is the kind of analysis people love to come to Wilde Tausch to get.
Oh.
No, I heard that by Schneid's, and I thought, no blank blank. But in the same respect, people get caught in this. And that's where the good organizations don't fall into that trap, and the crummy organizations constantly are, and especially at the top of drafts, because the search for a quarterback is like the search for, what's that gold? Search for McCluskey's gold, or who's the gold that they're searching for in National Treasure, or whatever that is. You're searching and trying so desperately to find that guy instead of just saying, for as much as the Cleveland Browns have butchered draft after draft and chasing quarterbacks and listening to a homeless dude to draft Johnny Manziel. And I remember when they drafted Joe Thomas, 3rd overall. They could have went with another quarterback. They could have done this. But for once, they finally said, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to draft a good football player and put him in and let him play. And you know what happened? Now, the Browns still stunk, but they got a Hall of Fame all-time great football player in Joe Thomas. So while that statement seems so, well, duh, it also shows how many organizations don't do that. And the Packers have to be careful this year because this is going to be more of an emotional draft than what we've seen in the past. I hope and I believe Goody is not going to do something irrational and say, because I think there is a part of him, because of the animosity towards his former quarterback, I hope he doesn't just go with a wideout or a tight end at 15 or 13 with the pick swap to say, we're doing this because we're trying to help Jordan Love. I initially would say, are you doing this to mess with that narrative that Aaron Rodgers has not had, the Green Bay Packers did not use a first-round pick since 2002 on a skill-positioned offensive player outside of Jordan Love. I hope that you're not doing that to fill that need to try and springboard your quarterback into greatness.
I feel like best player available becomes a crutch for so many teams. Like, you always hear it, best player available. But so often, and I know Jason's talked about this, where a lot of these guys just kind of have the same grade, and you end up using position need as the tiebreaker. But my counter to, it was great that Joe Thomas, and again, Joe Thomas is one of the all-time greats. I believe there was a graphic once saying he was the first offensive lineman ever. So, but it didn't do the Browns any good that they had this great left tackle. Like, they were still bad. Like, you need to have good players at certain positions in the NFL, so I understand reaching for a quarterback and trying to figure that out. The good news, though, for the Packers, and by the way, the Packers, Aaron Rodgers was the last person they had left with a first-round grade. They tried to trade out of that spot before finally deciding to take Aaron back in 2005.
How'd that work?
The good news for the Packers, it worked out really well. Worked out fantastically for the Packers. But I will say this in terms of whatever Goody decides to do this year. I think there are enough holes on this roster that he's going to have lots of options. Like, it's easy to, if tight end is if Michael Mayer or whatever tight end is your top graded player, a wide receiver or a pass rusher, or let's say Skronsky falls to 15 or he's at there at 13 and you have uncertainty, not a tackle this year, but certainly going forward you might. I feel like there are enough holes and questions on this roster right now that Goody can pretty much take any position without people kind of questioning what's going on. Is he really trying to take the best player available?
Gabe, if Brian Gutekunst drafts Njigba Smith, Dalton Kincaid, Meyer, there are going to be, I can assure you, we're doing this show Friday morning. You're doing your show Friday morning. We'll do ours. People will be calling in, and the narrative is going to be, he's doing that to prove a point, and it's almost going to be a vindictiveness about that pick. Whether or not that's right or wrong, I'm telling you that's what will happen. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but understand, and this is something I hope as Goody is evolving as a general manager, it can't just be he was the best player, we're grabbing him. Well, you did that with Jordan Love, and you traded to do it, and I don't think you fully understood the ramifications that was going to send through your locker room. You have to be willing to make big, bold moves. Totally agree with that. You also have to make sure you understand what the ramifications are when you do it. I think Goody now has a much better understanding of that part of his job.
Need it or don't need it?
So, if Goody does decide to go with best player available if the Packers stay at 15, that could be Iowa's Lucas Van Ness, the edge rusher. Now, the Athletics, Dane Brugler is their draft expert, and he compared Van Ness to the grizzly bear from the movie Cocaine Bear, given his style of play and his ferocity as a prospect. So I'll ask you guys, need it or don't need it? The Packers taking a Cocaine Bear with their number 15 overall pick.
Oh, I need that. Are you kidding me? I need that. 100% need that. I want somebody with that kind of. I want somebody with the veracity of somebody being compared to a cocaine bear rushing the passer. You kidding me? Sign me up for more of that. And by the way, that's what I want. I want a pass rusher at 15. The Packers don't get in the top 15 all that often. And when you look at the list of guys who are among the league leaders in sacks every year, it's first-round picks. And it's a smattering of first, second, third-round picks when you take a look at the list of leading receivers or top tight ends. The pass rusher where that athleticism that you're searching for in the first round that separates you, to me, it proves out more and is more valuable at that position than any other spot. You can find great the best receiver in the league is Devontae Adams. He was a second-round pick. But the best pass rushers almost always are first-round picks because they have elite athleticism. And if one of those guys' weight is falling to you at 15, I would jump on a pass rusher just because you don't know how much longer Preston Smith is going to be around. Clearly, you're hoping for the best of Rashawn Gary coming in off an ACL, but pairing two really good pass rushers together just helps everything else on the defense.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. What happened, I have not seen and will not watch unless I'm bored stiff. Cocaine Bear. I'm guessing the Cocaine Bear dies. Is that a spoiler? Does anybody know?
I've also yet to see the movie, but it's safe to assume, I would think, yes.
Yeah, I think at some point the bear dies, but, I mean, while he's on the cocaine, he's unstoppable, right? I would assume that's how that goes.
Yeah, I am not. I would not. Let's say I'm a draft prospect. I don't want to be compared to a cocaine bear. I just don't. Now, a rabid grizzly that is going to protect their cubs, I'm on board with that. If that was my draft grade in 2000, I would have gotten drafted a lot higher. I don't know what my animal analogy was. I have no clue. I probably don't want to know. But I don't want any player being...
I thought you were the dancing bear. Wasn't that like that was your...
I don't mind being a dancing bear. Yeah, it means you got good feet. That would be great. But I don't want the Packers to have a... Because to me, cocaine bear means flash in the pan. Same basic principle.
Whoa.
Don't want that. I want steady, great play that's you're going to give me 10 years, not 10 minutes. And I think the high of what Cocaine Bear is going through, again, don't know. Somebody else will have to tell me in the movie. I feel like it's and then so I don't want that. No, thank you.
I see what you did.
I don't know if Van Ness is a bear, but whatever the case may be.
I see what you did there, Tausch. The high of a cocaine bear. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Well, appreciate it. You know what else I love doing? Fishing. And Fleet Farm is your one-stop shop for fishing season. I've been seeing the rods getting thrown around. Shop those top brands and rods, reels, combos, and more. Plus, you can pick up live bait and your fishing license. I definitely have to go and get that, and you can do it all at Fleet Farm. Fleet Farm is your fishing headquarters, and you can score big savings and stock up at the Truckload Savings event this weekend at Fleet Farm, Saturday through Sunday only. Shop and save in-store or online at fleetfarm.com.
Speaking of best player available, there is one prospect that I keep seeing that all these guys, whether it's Mel Kiper Jr., whether, all these different mock drafts and all these different big boards. There's one player that they're all intrigued by, but he plays a position that a lot of teams don't want to waste a first-round pick on. We'll dive into that, and if he's there and he's the best player available, should the Packers take him? We'll discuss coming up next on Wilde Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcasts for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Looking for your next night out? Q Club of Wisconsin is the hangout spot for watching sports, playing games, and having some drinks. Mike, what you got going on over there, buddy?
Hey, Gary, there's so much going on here. We've got all your favorite teams on our TVs, more pool tables than you know what to do with, and live local bands playing on Saturdays. Plus, we got bocce leagues all summer long that we're signing teams up for right now. And, of course, our fish fry piled high on Wednesdays and Fridays.
And stop by for brunch on Saturdays and Sundays at 9 a.m. Check out QClubofWisconsin.com.
The crew looks to stay hot on Saturday. The Red Sox are in town to take on the Brewers Saturday night at AmFam Field.
High fly ball, deep right field. Rowdy Tellez has done it again. A 3-run shot for Rowdy.
Coverage right here on 94.5 ESPN starts at 5:35. And stick around after the game for Brewers Extra Innings.
The Club at Lac La Belle is the birthplace of golf in Wisconsin, with a rich history you will feel once you arrive. Experience a round at the Club at Lac La Belle. The redesigned course is open to the public 7 days a week. Schedule your tee time today at clubatlaclabelle.com. This is a golf destination that you will want to play over and over again, and enjoy fine dining and event space after your round. An historic past meets a vibrant future. Go to clubatlaclabelle.com to start your journey.
Kessler's is America's largest employee-owned diamond store.
It's the diamond store where the owners think like you do.
As shoppers, we want better prices and more choices.
That's why we give you better prices and more choices.
We don't try to choose for you. We let you choose.
You can choose a diamond from a diamond mine.
A diamond as old as the earth itself.
You can choose a created diamond from a plasma chamber.
A diamond as new and fresh and sparkling as springtime.
And now you can choose a flickering firelight diamond.
Flickering firelight diamonds sparkle with a rich and regal golden glow.
At Kessler's, you choose from 3 different kinds of diamonds.
3 different kinds of diamonds.
Earth diamonds from diamond mines.
Created diamonds from plasma chambers.
And flickering firelight diamonds with a rich, regal golden glow.
We like to have choices, so we give you choices.
Kessler's is the diamond store where the owners think like you do.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Find the Kessler's nearest you at Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. But prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Got some big news happening right now in the NFL. We're going to dive into that on Wilde Tausch. I'm Gabe Neitzel, the cousin sub of the day for Jason Wilde, along with Mark Tausch. We're going to read this tweet that was just sent out less than 10 minutes ago from Adam Schefter, ESPN NFL Insider. The NFL announced Quintez Cephas and C.J. Moore of the Detroit Lions and Shaka Toney of the Washington Commanders are suspended indefinitely through at least the conclusion of the 2023 season for betting on NFL games in the 2022 season. These players may petition for reinstatement at the conclusion of the 2023 season. Meanwhile, Stanley Berryhill and Jamison Williams of the Lions are suspended for the team's first 6 regular season games of 2023. Hoo boy, a lot to unpack in that tweet, but let's just start at the top, Tausch, as 3 players across 2 different teams have been suspended for the season, and it's not the first time we've seen this, because obviously we're just coming off of a player in Calvin Ridley who was suspended for the entire season for betting on games. It seems like the NFL made an example out of Ridley, and that example did not get across to everyone else in the league.
No, and I think this is something the league knew this was going to be an issue. They fought hard for no gambling. They wanted to keep it all out of the league sanction thing, and they, much like Eve and Adam back in the old days, they had the apple. And they waited, and they didn't want, and then when they took the bite of the apple, it tasted sweet. The NFL saw that money, and they had to get that apple. It wasn't enough. They have ventured into this, and it's a dangerous game. The NFL's seeing that because for as much as we complain about bad officiating, and there's plenty of that, if you're watching games, this isn't, and I know you're a huge wrestling fan. You guys have your great show with you and Hoodie and the team. You cannot have people falsely or regularly thinking that these games are being influenced. Gambling leaves you open to that. And you best believe the NFL better get their blank together. Because they suspend Ridley, and I think, oh, that was just a one-off. Things usually aren't one-off. The Detroit Lions, who everybody loved, they beat the Green Bay Packers. You don't know. I wonder if these guys allegedly bet on that game. You just don't know. I'll be interested to see the results. But what I know is this is a big, huge problem because if you as a league don't have, and this is what they fought against forever. They didn't want a team in Las Vegas. They wouldn't let Tony Romo go do fantasy football in Las Vegas 8 years ago. Now, every league is rushing to get out there to have a team. And you better police this and enforce it to the nth degree. Because right now, what do you think is going to happen with Ridley in Jacksonville if he drops a pass? Clutch pass at the end of a game. It ain't going to be, oh, shucks. There will be gamblers and other people thinking nefarious things allegedly are happening. You better get this nipped and put away because this is just the tip of this iceberg. And 5-game suspension, I am always for players. And this includes front office, scouts. This is everybody that's associated with the NFL. You get caught or doing anything of this, you need to Pete Rose them. You can't just leave this. If you don't make that deterrent, people are going to continue on. And for the league and for me as a former player, the integrity of the NFL is vital to its success. Yes, entertainment, great quarterback play. You start leaving open windows that people can make these judgments because there are facts that base that now this is happening. You better get your blank together. Maybe you have to start looking at the relationships that you're having with some of these gambling operations and think, is it worth it? Because this, wait and see, you're pulling on threads. You're going to see unspooling, and I don't think it's going to be pretty. So get your blank together. This is a monster story that needs monster attention and needs monster input from the league and leadership as far as how you're going to stop this, because these are the things that ruin sports.
It's interesting to me. The 5 players that were mentioned by Adam Schefter, Quintus Cephas, C.J. Moore, Shaka Toney, those 3 being suspended indefinitely. And then you have 2 more players in Stanley Berryhill and Jamison Williams being suspended for the first 6 games. Yeah, I'm with you, Tausch. You can't tell me that these are the only 5 guys. These are the 5 guys that got caught. But to me, it's the same thing as steroids in baseball. Like, the guys that got caught, we know there's a lot more guys that were using steroids than the ones that got caught in the early 2000s. There have to be more guys. And it's super easy. If you're living in a state where sports gambling is legalized, which I know it's becoming more and more legalized here in Wisconsin, like, I could go on my Potawatomi app, place the bet, but I still have to go to the casino. But there are so many other places where, whether it's FanDuel, whether it's, I know Barstool has one, but if you're in a state where sports gambling is straight up legal, it is super easy for these guys to make bets just on their phone. I'm not quite sure how you're going to be able to police it outside of getting incredibly harsh, as you just mentioned, because clearly losing a season isn't enough of a deterrent for these guys to not. When it happened with Calvin Ridley, I think it was like $1,500 on some sort of parlay that he made, which just seems stupid. Like, it's a $1,500 parlay. You're a first-round pick. Why do you need to do that?
Yep.
I'm curious to see the amount of money that was thrown around these guys, because losing a season is unbelievable. To me, that's a really harsh punishment. But it wasn't deterrent enough. Like, I'm with you. The punishment has to get harsher in order for the NFL to actually cut this thing out.
Well, here's the deal. I think the first thing you need to do is to make sure everyone is educated about what's going on. Because I'm sure if you're thinking, well, I could put a little something on an NBA game, I could do this. And the NFL and its other sporting leagues, I think this needs to be a complete and utter zero tolerance deal. I don't think you could, because would Calvin Ridley have done what he did if he knew what was going to happen? I would think he would have, now that he knows and he missed the season. These NFL seasons are precious, man. It's why the owners always beat us in CBA negotiations, because they know every year that you don't earn that money is gone, and you're 1 year closer to being done. That's how they keep pounding and beating the Players Association in this stuff, because they know that, and they can wait and hold out. Players can't miss seasons. And I don't think players understand the totality of what they're doing and the effects it has on the league. The league understood the risks because they fought it forever. And then they had no choice, or at least they felt like they had no choice, because they're chasing to get to that $27 billion revenue stream that they're getting. I understand why they want to do it. I am a capitalist. Let's go make money. But there has to be the equation. You have to balance and figure out, okay, is it worth it now? Because every one of these players, and every time someone makes a mistake, every time there's an interception or an interception dropped that moves the line and that ends up moving a bunch of money one way or the other, just like, what was that referee in the NBA, Donatel, or what was his name, Donaghy?
Yeah, Tim Donaghy, yeah.
That was a scandal that the NBA squashed, which, good for them to do it. Those are the things sports fans have to know, that when the Green Bay Packers are playing the Detroit Lions, it's all full tilt. They can't have these things. And again, this is all alleged. I want to make sure we put that. I don't want to get sued. Everything here is alleged. But what I will say strongly is the league needs to get its blank together and make sure that its players are educated and know they can't, because this whole operation, this is a monster boulder that can crush a big part of the NFL's business if you don't get it right.
844-770-3776. That is the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. We'll take your reaction about the suspensions being handed down by the league. 3 different players, 2 from the Lions, including former Badger Quintez Cephas, have been suspended for the season. 2 other Lions players have been suspended for 6 games. I should say that the 3 players who have been suspended for the season, that's when they can apply for reinstatement. As of right now, they have been suspended indefinitely. That coming from ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Yeah, it stinks. Obviously, Quintez Cephas, a wideout here, and he went through a lot of stuff when he was here.